Hey guys, wanted to share with you another style of LED lights for the motorcycles. I went with a full assembly on my electric glide, but now that I got this Honda Shadow to play with, I'm only going to go with a replacement bulb for the sealed reflector, because this is so easy to exchange. You gotta just pop the halogen out of it and put in a LED H4 bulb, and of course you just take the rubber boot off. You're going to unlatch it with the little spring, and then you take the halogen bulb out. Now here's where everything gets tricky. I mean, it sounds so easy, right? Oh yeah, just pop this out and pop a new one in. But these things, man, I've watched so many YouTube videos, and there's a lot of them. And the one guy who has a channel, he will show you, he's got a table laid out with probably 300 bulbs on it. There's just that many on the market, and there's so much to try to decipher and figure out and stuff like that. It gets pretty mind-boggling. They'll exchange bulbs, and they'll change the whole assembly, and they'll shine it on a wall, and they'll tell you, oh well, it's got this much. Here's your pattern, which is important. Here's your pattern. It's got a nice cutoff at the top, on low beam. And it's got this much lux. And the LED, light is rated at so many lumens and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you something. All that information is great when you are scientifically comparing stuff. But you go on Wikipedia and you research lux, and you read through that whole thing, and believe me, there's lumens and there's lux, and there's about 10 other scientific measurements of light related to, I don't know if it's just LEDs, it might be related to incandescents and halogens, but don't read it. I'm going to forewarn you, don't read it, because let me tell you what's going to happen if you do. The next time you go sit on the toilet, you're probably going to shit out some brain cells, because it's mind-boggling. So like I said, I'm going with just a bulb replacement on this Honda Shadow. And here's an H4. You got 3 prongs on it. That basically is the alignment. The large prong here is the top. That's going to be the top of your light. And that's actually pretty important, because when you buy an LED bulb, generally speaking, your post where your LEDs are mounted, sometimes you'll have a post that's got 2 flat sides to it, and you got an LED mounted on each side. If that's the case, when you have the bulb mounted inside the reflector, the way you want that LED to be oriented is you want an LED, that post should be a vertical post when you're looking straight down it, and an LED on the left and right side of it. You're not supposed to have one on the top and the bottom. Now here's where it gets tricky. So I wanted to find an LED replacement H4 bulb that was going to be a plug and play, really simple. And there was, after, like I said, I watched so many videos, I come to a conclusion of a couple things, and I'm trying to keep it simple, because I'm trying to do this on a really cheap budget. I'm not trying to light up a football field. Couple things that I'm interested in when I change over to LEDs is I want the reduced power drain on the battery, easier for the generator, keep it all charged up. If I can get equal or better light, you know, that's the other thing. And you know, the reduction of heat. When this halogen is inside this shadows reflector, I could have my hand 12 inches away from that headlight and I could feel the heat coming off of that thing, which, you know, you don't want your light to be, what's heat doing for you? You want light, you don't want heat. Heat's just wasted energy when it comes to light. And LEDs are certainly generally low heat electronics, but they still do create some heat. So when you go to buy a LED bulb, for instance, this setup, a couple things that I paid attention to was they'll tell you there's like a 1-to-1 ratio. What they mean by that is when you put these two bulbs side by side, they're basically identical in size. And some of these, you know, they'll have fans on them. This is basically a fanless H4. I got a lot of aluminum fins on it to probably keep the heat down a bit. But some of them will have a big fan base to it. Some of them will have these like metal fins that you got to fan out that help dissipate the heat. Some of them have like a braided ribbon that you got to, you know, again, stretch out and spread it all out and, you know, open it up so that helps dissipate the heat. And then some of them have a pigtail coming off of it and all this stuff. Well, I'm not interested in playing all those games. If this doesn't work, this is going back in the motorcycle. Unless I can find something equivalent to this that's going to, you know, do the job. But now with this bulb, a couple things. Like I was talking about, a lot of LED bulbs are going to have an LED on two sides. This one's actually a little bit different. And the thing that made it appeal to me is this has 3 LEDs. So every, you know, you got 3 sides 120 degrees apart. So you're going to have more LED light kind of flooding inside the reflector. So I'm assuming that's better, but we shall see. So interestingly, this has actually 3 sides to it. And the way that it's oriented, like I was telling you, this is the top. The way that it's oriented is you got one reflector, or one LED on the bottom, and then you got 2 LEDs on the top, which are basically covering, you know, a wide range. There's no dead spot in the middle, like a 2 LED bulb would do. You'd have a dead spot on the top, you'd have a dead spot on the bottom. So again, you know, that sounds like it's going to flood more light into the reflector, which could be good. But here's the other thing. With the H4 halogen bulb that was in this light assembly, you've got one filament in the middle of the glass. You've got another filament that's basically sitting right in front of that little reflector. I'm not sure which one is high and which one's low, but so you've got a pretty tall range of the element. And that's actually what you want to have as well. You want to have your LEDs lining up in the same position as where these elements are. That's what you know. Basically, the reason why you want that is because as you set this inside your reflector, you want that, you know, light to be at the same distance to reflect off your reflector assembly the same way. No matter what bulb you put in, you change out, whether you're putting a different halogen in or you're putting an LED in, you're going to probably want to make sure that you adjust your tilt on your headlight, because there's no doubt it's going to be different in some degree. But generally speaking, I'm assuming if your LEDs are lining up equal to the height of your the elements on your halogen, things should be pretty close. So anyway, this is the one I got. It was made by, it's an Amazon buy, okay? I think it was 17 bucks. It was a DAYWALKER LED. It's made in China, but it's cheap. This might only last a month. I don't know. If it lasts a year, I'll probably be pretty happy with it. And then I've yet to put it in and test it out. A lot of guys want to just get that color, from an LED, where halogens are bright, but when you're looking straight at an LED light, a headlight on a car or a motorcycle, those are freaking bright. So we'll see. I'll have to let you guys know how this works out. But so the putting it in this light assembly, it's gonna go. It snaps in just fine, just like the other one, the halogen. So we'll see how good it is when I light some stuff up. The other thing is, a lot of those other kinds of bulbs, when you got the fan base to it with a pigtail sticking out, all kinds of stuff, then you have issues with reusing the stock boot on the back of your reflector assembly. Not with this one. That's why I tried to stay like as close to an original halogen plug-in. So that's just like the halogen bulb was. No modification, no cutting, no nothing. So it'll be a plug and play. Hopefully it's going to work. At least I know it's going to cause less amperage draw off the battery, and I hope the light's decent. But that's it. I'll put some links to that particular this particular bulb in the post, and let me know what you think. If you guys got some other ideas or opinions, let me know. Share it with the group. I wish more of you guys would share some information, anything you're coming across. Anyway, that's another tech talk on lights. Talk to you later.